And folks, just like that, we're back with Carin Watson, the Chief Growth Officer of Singularity University, here at beautiful San Francisco, California, at the Global Summit. Carin, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, last time we spoke, things have since last time we spoke, things have changed just a little bit. What has Singularity done in this past year that you're most excited about?
So the past year we've been really busy. We acquired not one, not two, but three companies. We acquired A360, Peter's company, that includes his in-person conference, his A360 members, as well as Abundance Digital, which is his digital membership solution, and a bunch of other cool, fun, exciting trips and events that he does with his membership that is now part of Singularity. So it's really exciting. We also acquired two organizations near and dear to my heart that have to do with storytelling. So we also acquired Futurism, which has a media arm, a creative arm, and a studio arm, and most importantly, they tell really important stories about what the future might be like. And they are very consistent with how Singularity University sees the world, in that the future, if we do our jobs right as humans, the future does not have to be this dystopian, the robots are coming to take our jobs and kill us all kind of future. And Futurism, just like Singularity Hub and all of the stories that SU has written over the years, is very much about a new, positive, more optimistic, skeptical, appropriately skeptical, but a positive narrative about the future and about technology and science and how we can all work together to use those tools to create a more positive future for all. We also acquired a company called Uncommon Partners, which is near and dear to my heart because I have done a lot of work with Kyle Nell, who ran innovation at Lowe's Home Improvement, and that is where he started using the term Uncommon Partners, which basically meant that he was trying to bring people and organizations together that wouldn't normally have reason to work together, thus Uncommon Partners. He and his partner left Lowe's and started a company called Uncommon Partners and started doing all sorts of really interesting projects with large corporations, trying to create new solutions leveraging exponential technologies. And we acquired Uncommon Partners a few months ago, and now they are building our Uncommon Partners Lab, which is, again, leveraging these exponential technologies to create new learning solutions using neuro and VR, and forming really interesting strategic partnerships, leveraging this Uncommon Partners concept. So I'm excited about all of our new organizations because I think they will play very pivotal roles in helping us create. Well, I'm walking myself down a weird path. I'm going to stop with that. So I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I'm curious because Singularity University, I feel like it's so big. You mentioned it has a lot of different arms.
Yes.
For people at home, I have no idea what Singularity University is.
Yeah.
How do you explain it, and what's your involvement as the Chief Growth Officer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Chief Growth Officer, I'll start with that. It basically means my job is to grow the business, it's to grow the brand, it's to grow our global community, and it's to grow our impact. So I feel responsible for all of those things. Really quickly, we have four main divisions within Singularity. We have an enterprise business that works with established organizations and helping them try to, not just prevent disruption, but to leverage their muscle, their assets, their capabilities, and exponential technologies and new mindsets and leaders to create a new path towards their future. So we do a lot of really interesting work with organizations all over the world who ideally have champions top of the house, so to speak. So a CEO or a C-level executive who is a true champion for, how do we live into this new future? We like to work with organizations that have that kind of stewardship, that authentic support from the top. We're doing a lot of work now with professional services organizations that are trying to bring more value to their clients, as well as investment companies that are trying to bring more value to their portfolio companies, and also sort of figure out where they should place their bets. So that's the enterprise business. Okay. We also work with individuals ranging from executives to influencers in governments to just the generally curious. And we offer a range of open enrollment programs, both in person and online, and a lot
These
of
are educational programs?
They
or
are.
courses,
They are.
whatever?
Yeah. So I'll give you a couple examples. So we have a 6-day flagship executive program. By the way, you'll note that we are not terribly creative with our naming. I think that's because we realized singularity was kind of a hard word to wrap people's heads around, and so our naming is very boring. But it's an executive program, the EP. It's been around for 10 years, and it is our flagship program because it is our most immersive, intense, provocative program that brings about 80 to 100 influencers and leaders from all over the globe. We usually have 30-ish countries in the classroom. It's really cool, and they're people who are interested in a particular technology, but also interested in having impact in a particular area, and they're influencers. They can leave the program and take action. So they come together, they learn about the breadth of technology, which I think is something that makes SU particularly unique. You don't have to. It's not like a traditional university where you go deep on one tech. You learn about how all of the technologies are converging and impacting each other, and then they learn about the implications and the applications of those technologies. And that's where I think the program is most interesting, because I believe that our opportunity, our responsibility as Singularity is to create a safe space for having really hard conversations about how technology might be used in the future. And it is important that we have diverse voices in the room, which is why we intentionally curate every single person who's in that classroom. I'm going to say that again. It's why we intentionally curate the classroom to ensure that participants are diverse across gender, geography, particular interests, GGC or Global Grand Challenge areas of interest or experience, et cetera. And we foster debate and discussion about things like ethics and bias. And these are hard topics, but at the end of the day, technology is not sufficient to create a better future, right? It's humans that have to leverage the technology as a means to an end to create a better future. And so we have to find ways to come together and have hard conversations. And the EP is one great example of one of the programs we run that does that. Do you want me to keep going? Okay.
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, Singularity just has so much going on.
Yeah.
You mentioned 30 countries, and this itself is a global summit. There's people from all over the world.
Yeah.
How important has this inclusion been to Singularity University's success and growth?
I think it is one of the most important foundational values that we established, that Ray and Peter established when they founded the organization. All of the traditional dimensions of diversity are important, but diversity of thought, perspective, is critical. And the idea that problems and understanding of problems, good ideas or bad ideas, solutions, they come from all over, right? We're in Silicon Valley, but that's just geography. That doesn't mean we have better ideas or solutions to hard problems than anyone else in the world. And with the democratization of technology, and with 5G coming and everybody around the world having access to this, we absolutely have to tap into all crevices around the world to solve the world's biggest problems. And that diversity and having the entrepreneurs and the corporations and the governments and the nonprofits and the investors and academia, having all of them at the table is critical in our view to solving the global grand challenges.
And you touched on a great point. Like Peter Diamandis says, the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities.
Yes.
What opportunity are you most excited about? Or is there one? There's so many that are going on.
I mean, it's hard to pick a technology for me at least, because I'm around, our frameworks and the experts that really are bringing the latest and greatest through our classrooms and our virtual classrooms, and it is all so mind-blowing. It's hard to choose one, but for me, the most important, again, it's hard to even choose, but one of the most important technologies in my view is virtual reality, because empathy is so fundamental to civilization right now. And I believe VR can put us in other shoes and force us to experience other and appreciate what other feels like. And understanding that and the bias that exists in the world, conscious and unconscious, I think is absolutely crucial. And it's not until we identify those sources of bias and the experiences of other people and really have that empathy, can we design solutions that are inclusive, that are relevant to the broadest set of people.